Hello all, hope you have a good day today. A Knife Tear here, bringing you a nice summary of a knife I've done a review on. It will be linked in the description. In fact, I'll link somewhere you can buy the knife down there too, probably. This is the Giant Mouse Ace Grand. This knife is made in Italy. It comes in Elmax steel. Micarta handles. It is a inset steel lock, liner lock with titanium hardware and backspacer, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if the pivot's titanium. I doubt it. I think the pivot's titanium. Yeah, it's not gripping any harder onto that than it is anything else under there. Yeah, I'm thinking the pivot, everything, the hardware is titanium. Okay. That's kind of nice. I don't know if that really makes that much of a difference, but everything, clip included, titanium. Giant Mouse is a company by Jens Anso and Jesper Voxnaes. They produce knives out of Italy, as I might have said already. I don't even know what I'm saying now. They have, I believe this knife, the Ace Grand, is named after like one of their favorite hotels or something like that, if I remember correctly. I heard about it. Italian knives can be hit or miss. I think this one is a pretty good one. We've got, what's the blade length? It's about 3 1/4 to the very edge of the front edge of the scale, and overall it's 7 inches and 7/8. It's not a huge knife, but it's got a good presence. It's got a tall blade, so it actually gets down decently thin, which a lot of Italian knives don't, behind the edge, right? Good tall flat grind with a little bit of meat up at the tip. Not too bad though. Blade to handle ratios could be a little bit better, but it does take up most of the handle. This knife is on bearings, by the way. And the spine is crowned, and in true Voxnaes Anso fashion, there is jimping part way up where you're likely to put your thumb or your hand when you're doing sort of a draw. So, this is a knife that I kind of like more than I probably should. And I talked about this in the full review, so if you want to get the whole thing, it is there. But Italian knives tend to have some issues. Historically, the heat treats weren't great, though from what I've heard and my experience, the Elmax here is pretty darn good. Like, they do a good job on their Elmax, at least it seems like they do. It also came wickedly sharp. It has started to lose that now, but it is still surprisingly aggressive. Like, it is really held this edge longer than I was expecting it to. Much longer than a lot of other knives. In, like, even M390 and stuff. It seems to be a decently low edge angle, or I guess the bevel is tall because of that. And it's not too thick, and I think that's really helped it. And the clip point style, kind of harpoony blade, is both attractive with the sort of misshapen hole that Giant Mouse likes to do. The plunge grind is really good. Like, the plunge grind ends almost immediately. It drops almost this is how we want everybody doing plunge grinds. This is wonderful. And the stop pin is down deep in here, so it actually interacts with the top of the tang instead of hitting anywhere near. So you can cut in your own choil, no problem. But getting back on to track, This knife still has some issues and quirks, and you may have seen one, but it's got lock stick. It's always had lock stick. That doesn't bother me that bad. It's not too terrible. The lock bar axis is so-so. I can mostly come from the side. It could be a little bit better. It could be a little bit... I don't know if they even need to jimp this. I don't necessarily love jimp lock bars. If you just bowl it out, it'll just like mill an angle on it so you can get better access to it. Usually works just as well, if not better, in my opinion. But this knife is ground off center. The blade looks perfectly centered to me, or darn near it, but the tip is definitely ground off center. There's no play, and the action, it broke in really well. But between that and that, it also came with this on the lock face. That won't come off. It almost looks like they may have carbonized the lock face and that may be what's causing some of the lock stick. I don't know. It's quite strange, and it came that way. It's been that way. It hasn't caused any problems beyond lock stick. All right. So it's a really good knife, pretty darn comfortable in hand. You don't really have a choke up position, but if you kind of want to move up on it a little bit, you can. I wouldn't go up here because you're kind of falling into it. You could, I suppose, if you really, really, really just wanted to, like... Yeah, I'd feel pretty reasonably safe because I'm still partially behind this little angle. For a push grip, it's reasonably comfortable in hand. It's well designed in that sense. It's an Anso Evox. They typically make decent ergos on smaller knives. This is not necessarily quite as small as a lot of the knives that they like to make. But, yeah, it's got good ergos. The micarta is contoured. It's really good micarta. This one, as of course, as you can pretty much see, is broken in quite a bit. It's gotten quite a bit darker. That's what it looked like when I first got it. So yeah, there's a substantial shift in there. I don't know why under the pocket clip has not really worn in at all. Well, I mean, I guess oils and stuff aren't really getting in there, so. So I really like the knife. I do think that maybe a couple of these edges, like this one right here, is a little bit too abrupt. But while I think it's a really good design, I think there's some real flaws here that don't quite match up with the typical flaws of the Italian-made pocket knives, being tight action. I mean, it is the lock stick, but also thick behind the edge and just some finishing issues. It's got its own set of things. Yet, despite all that, again, I like this thing quite a bit. And from what I've heard, this is an older knife that they made, and this one has been around for a couple years in my own possession. So I have heard that a lot of their newer ones seem to be even a little bit better, a little bit more consistent on the QC. And that's really the only issue with this knife, the QC. As a knife, it's good. This thing comes in at $220? 25 bucks, I want to say. They used to be coming in at $200, but for some reason, this particular model of their line, well, I think they did. My memory may be failing me, but this particular model of their line did go up. But a lot of their knives are still like $199 and do pretty frequent sales, honestly. So while I would consider checking out the rest of their line for something very comparable, I mean, you can definitely get other knives in their line that are micarta, Elmax, very similar to this, at the $199 instead of the $220. I still think it's decent. The QC just needs to be a little more consistent if it hasn't already improved. Which, again, why I would suggest maybe checking out one of their more recent models that come in at that lower price point, because I've heard good things about them. And overall, this is actually still a pretty darn good knife. It's a good looking knife, too. I don't know why. It doesn't hit my standard for usual good looking knives. It's not doing anything special. I typically like thinner knives, and the blade to handle ratio is a bit off. I mean, it definitely looks like you're getting a lot more handle than blade, which normally throws me off a little bit, but I like this one, and I can recommend it, but the possibility of a little bit of QC craziness is there, which is unfortunate. But considering the titanium and the LMAX and what you're getting at that around $200 mark, depending on sales and stuff like that, is pretty solid mid-tier, honestly. So yeah, the Ace Grand. Interesting knife, not without its flaws, but I still like it. Good design language. That's everything from me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. I drug this one out a little bit longer than I wanted to. I just couldn't find the words for it. I got there, I think. See ya.